In what is both a reprehensible yet completely unsurprising act by Amazon, the company has promoted a former executive with an interesting history to oversee warehouse training. So now, according to Matt Stoller, who wrote, last week, Amazon had taken the company's head of loss prevention in the Americas, a woman named Dana Howard, and given her the position of being the head trainer for warehouse workers. Now, as I mentioned, she has a very interesting resume and work history, and so I'm going to get into that. Turns out she was a former executive from the private prison industry. Howard, Stoller writes, started her career at the private prison giant known as Corrections Corporation of America, which has since been renamed CoreCivic. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why they had to change their name. Oh, right. PR disaster. Turns out Corrections Corporation of America, not very popular because it literally makes money off taking Americans' freedom. That's the whole point of a private prison, to make money off denying Americans freedom, imprisoning them for profit. It's disgusting. All right, now at CCA, according to her LinkedIn page, Howard, quote, revamped the inmate admission process and revised all processing documentation, resulting in a 20% reduction in inmate processing time and a reduced error rate. So, hey, faster processing time. Let's get them in real fast. Fill up these private prisons so we can make more money. And at Amazon, which she's worked there for about a decade now, she came to head their global security group and then their loss prevention team, after which Howard was then promoted to run their learning and development team, which is Amazon's internal training program for all warehouse workers. Gee, I wonder if the fact that her experience in herding prisoners around would be a reason that she was, chosen to run this warehouse worker training program. I wonder what skills kind of overlap there. After all, again, we do know a lot of stories from Amazon workers and how, absolutely horrific some of these working environments are. For example, how, being micromanaged so much on the job to make rate that people have had to urinate in bottles during their shifts. Drivers have had to urinate in bottles during their shifts, injuring themselves to try to make rate, or even dying. Kind of sounds like a labor camp. Maybe even, I don't know, prison-like conditions. In fact, staff at Amazon's warehouses reported grueling shifts, long hours, and poor welfare. So you might think, whoa. You're comparing it to a prison. Come on. I mean, unlike prison, well, people voluntarily work there. They signed up for the job. Well, this is amazing. According to Amazon's own data, as a result of the working conditions, these warehouses had an attrition rate of 123% as of last year. So 123% attrition rate means more people are leaving their jobs, had left that job the last year with an additional 23% on top that had hired it. That's amazing. And of course, you don't have to wonder why. Not only are working conditions like a prison, which at least in this case, you can actually escape, but you have people that have died. According to More Perfect Union, 2 workers had died at the company's Bessemer, Alabama facility within 24 hours of each other. The group said that one of the deceased men had had his request to go home denied by HR, and hours later suffered a fatal stroke while on the job. You can't go home. The group also alleges that a total of 6 people had died at the Bessemer facility in 2021, and that Amazon is covering up those deaths. And of course, you also had the hurricane, which workers were not allowed to go home, and others were not allowed to even have their phones. So they didn't know that there was a hurricane that was incoming. And just recently, by the way, nearly half of all drivers at an Amazon delivery hub in California had gotten sick from heat-related illness during the heat wave that has been going on in California. During that heat wave, drivers had shared pictures of temperature readings taken inside their vans, with many topping 120 degrees Fahrenheit inside. Brad, a driver in Riverside, California, who said who refused to give his last name, said, quote, "It feels like you're in an open air oven all the time." And in late August, according to another report, as temperatures soared, Brad decided he was going to slow down, cool off, take a break, etc. Well, he tried to, but then received an automated message from Amazon telling them that he had underperformed on his delivery completion rate. You have underperformed, Brad, which is why you need to get back to the mines and start working again. In this 120 degree inside of your van weather. Others have topped even 125 degrees, breaking those thermostats. These are the conditions that these people are expected to work in. Here's what Brad said, by the way. Another quote from him. "It's all about performance metrics. They want you to complete 20 to 25 stops an hour, and if you fall behind, you're in trouble," said Brad, who asked not to give his full name. So that's the conditions, right? So now what better person to help train new people than someone who had literally worked at a private prison corporation? One of the most evil, I should say, the evil, most evil industries in this country. And now is working in a slightly less evil corporation, but still evil. Look, understand, this is why unions and labor are so important. Why the labor movement as a whole needs to continue to grow. We have to band together. We have to get together to fight back against these absolute ghouls in corporate America who are continuing to profit off of human suffering, whether or not it's private prisons, which again should be absolutely abolished. There should be no private prisons, period. No private prisons. But also companies like Amazon who treat their workers like absolute garbage in order to make profit for executives. We need to fight back. And again, the only way we do so is if labor gets together and fights.